Hi, my name is Allison, and I'm in love with a loser. I met Jack back in our freshman year. He was the sweetest guy ever, a real goofball. He made me laugh, and we'd spend hours hanging out together. It was amazing. He was my very first boyfriend, and he would end up taking me to prom in one of the most magical nights of my entire life. Back when we were in high school, everything was perfect. He had a part-time job, and he got great grades. Maybe not straight A's, but that wasn't a problem. Nobody's perfect. My parents really liked him, and they approved of us dating as long as it didn't get in the way of my studies. When we graduated, I decided to apply for a college close to home. Jason said he'd continue working for a while and gather some extra money before going to college. I found it a bit odd, but he seemed to have a plan, so I didn't nag him about it. It was after he got his new job that he began acting strange. Some of his coworkers smoked pot, and he began doing the same. He really enjoyed it. At first, it was a once-in-a-while thing, which I was sort of okay with. I've never done drugs, but it seemed like a minor issue. But then he began smoking pot every single day, and by the end of the year, it seemed like he was high more often than not. Things only got worse. Jason began drinking heavily. He tried to brush it off as just blowing off steam after a long day at work. I wasn't so sure that was the case, as he'd sometimes be on the same spot he was when I left for work that morning. You see, Jason and I had decided to move in together, so I both studied and worked at that time. We lived close to my college's campus, but still I was rarely at home, so Jason got to do everything he wanted without me noticing. One night, I received a terrifying call. Jason had been in a car accident. I couldn't believe it and rushed to the hospital. Thank heavens he only had minor injuries, but his car was destroyed. When he told me what happened, I was pissed off. He had been drunk driving and smashed his car against a tree. I wish I could say that's when Jason realized how alcohol and pot were messing with his life, but he didn't. He just went right back to drinking the following night. Soon I realized I was right to be suspicious. Jason was fired from his job because he kept calling in sick. He tried to hide it from me at first, thinking he'd get another job before I noticed, but he didn't even show up to the interviews. As rent was due, I was forced to take extra shifts at the restaurant I worked at. This meant paying less attention to my studies, which made me so angry at Jason. We began arguing almost every day. I would try every approach to get him to realize how he was messing up his life, and mine in the process. I screamed, I pleaded. I had heart-to-heart conversations with him every time he'd promise he would change, but he never did. The problem was, I loved Jason so much. When we first met, he had been this amazing guy, so I didn't want to just give up on him without a fight. I wanted to help him get better and go back to being that responsible, funny boy I fell in love with. Jason spent most of his time at home, watching sports on TV or gambling online. Somehow, he always had money for another beer or a joint, but never for bills or rent. I had to actually drop my studies for a while to work full-time in order to keep us afloat. That was when I decided to dump him. Enough was enough, I thought. But Jason was so heartbroken. He sobbed like a baby and swore he'd change. And like a fool, I believed him. I decided to stay and watched with pride as he went to his first job interview in over a year. He got the job. We celebrated without alcohol. I truly thought he had learned his lesson. I was wrong. Only a month later, Jason lost his new job because he didn't even bother showing up. This time around, I had enough. No matter how much I loved him, I couldn't be supporting a parasite all through my life. I paid for the last month of rent and explained to him that from then on, he either had to pay for it on his own or vacate the apartment. I moved back in with my parents and went back to college. It was the only way I could put my life back on track after the train wreck it had become. I still worked a half-time job to help pay for my expenses and plan on moving out the moment I graduate. I'm getting good grades, and my amazing mom and dad helped me pay for the debts I had accumulated because of Jason's responsibility. I still love him dearly, even after everything he did, but I can't let him drag me down. I have big dreams for my life and deserve someone who pulls his own weight, Not some slacker who expects me to pay for everything while he lays on the sofa and drinks all day. Jason is not doing any better, the last I checked. He apparently gets a few odd jobs now and then to pay for his beer and pot, but is still a total loser. I feel so bad for him, but I learned you can't change someone who doesn't see that they are doing anything wrong. Thanks for watching. If you know someone who is stuck in a situation like mine, share this video with them. And don't forget to subscribe and check out the other videos on this channel.